Many fans are anxious about what could possibly happen or not happen with the Genesis 50th anniversary tour. Will Peter Gabriel be in there? Will it probably just be the three, Mike Rutherford, Phil Collins, and Tony Banks? We talked to their longtime touring guitarist, Daryl Stuermer. I'm John Bowden from rockhistorymusic.com. With Phil going back on the road with his son Nicholas, longtime bassist Leland Sklar, and Daryl Stuermer, who's recorded and toured with both Phil Collins and Genesis. Of course, recorded more with Phil than he did with Genesis, but he's been in the fold for a lot of years. I've had the pleasure of talking to Daryl Stuermer at least 5 times in interviews, and he's always forthright about what goes on with Genesis. Backstage, the stuff we don't see. One of the first questions I had to ask him last time I talked to him was, who decides what you play? Do you just play the Steve Hackett stuff? And we asked him, of all the people in Genesis, who's your best friend? Some people might assume it's Phil Collins, but we asked.
Okay, well, if you really think about it, most of the time, other than, I think there's only one time, most of the time I'm playing on anything that Steve Hackett would have played on.
Right.
Other than the opening, which is the Duke.
Yeah, I noticed you were playing lead there, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure why I'm playing lead on that one. It's sort of up to Mike, what he wants to do, where he wants to play. I think when it came down to that, if I remember correctly, when we were doing the Duke tour, which probably would have been like 80 I think at that time he said, maybe Daryl, you could do a little bit more with this part. That's how he put it to me. Mm-hmm. So he had me do it. And so, and I did put a little extra things in there. And, sometimes when you're doing it yourself, you can't imagine something else. So you say to another guy, see what you can do with it.
Yeah.
That person kind of, because you're almost too close to it. So he said that to me. But so generally, though, if you notice on the Dusseldorf, I'm playing guitar on most of the older Genesis things. Anything that Steve Hackett would have played guitar on, like In the Cage, Ripples is one that we play, Los Endos, things like that, where it's almost more guitar-oriented, or where you have to kind of play a little bit more, a little bit, not jazzier, but you have to just kind of fly a little more on the guitar.
Mm-hmm. Which one of the guys are you closest to? I mean, is it Chester? Is it Phil, Mike? I mean, is there one guy that, you know how it is, for whatever reason, sometimes we're closer to one person or connect more?
It's a tough one. Probably Mike, because we play the same instrument.
Yeah.
And, we stand next to each other on stage. But, it's hard to say because just about every morning, almost every morning I'll have breakfast with Tony Banks. Mm-hmm. But that's because he goes down and I go down. We say, what time are you going to have breakfast tomorrow? Well, I'm going to go down at 9:30. Mike doesn't want to come down, so he's going to have it in his room. But I would say sort of generally I probably am closest to Mike. But then again, when I'm on all of Phil's tours and it's kind of really a hard thing to say. We're a group of guys on the same team, you know what I mean?
We'll have more of our many chats with Daryl Stuermer coming up in the next few weeks as we anxiously await what's going to happen with Phil Collins, Mike Rutherford and Tony Banks, and possibly Steve Hackett and Peter Gabriel for a 50th anniversary tour, show, song. I think at least Phil, Tony, and Mike will get together to do something, don't you think? Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. I'm John Bowden from Rock History Music.